Hey, what's up? This is That Fabric Guy here on YouTube with a weekly video on Microsoft Fabric, and today we are going to vibe code our way through Microsoft Fabric. So, what could go wrong? Let's dive in. Alright, the scenario is this. I am a data engineer. I am tasked with building a data platform on top of a SQL database, and I've just replicated that SQL database inside Microsoft Fabric. So that is my starting point, and from there I want to start creating my bronze layer, silver layer, gold layer, and some modeling with a report on top of it. But I don't know anything about Microsoft Fabric. So can ChatGPT help me do that stuff in Microsoft Fabric? Let's find out. And we'll start with the first prompts. So I just gave ChatGPT my prompt. I have no clue what to do, and I asked ChatGPT to create a solution for me. It is thinking, and then it's outlining the plan for me as it says on the screen. So I'm really wondering what's going on behind the scenes and what it is actually giving me as a guide. While ChatGPT is thinking and crafting a guide for me, we can already look at the left side here. So why don't we hop over back to the workspace, and here in the workspace I've created a folder for our vibe coding experiment here, and there I've created a SQL database by just clicking on new item and then adding a SQL database here over on the right side. I see that ChatGPT now lost its connection. That is not really good. I really hope we can do this. But here on the left side of the screen, we find that we have this SQL database. Now, if you have an empty SQL database in Microsoft Fabric, you can ingest data out of into it, but you can also fill it with sample data, and that's what I've done. So I've done the sample data here, and as you can see, there's just some sales information with customers, addresses, products, and sales orders contain those products probably, and this is probably, let's see, the worldwide importers data set with the biking stuff. Let's see, this looks like bike stuff indeed. Road frames, mountain bikes. Yes, this is the WWI. Okay, so ChatGPT on the right side of my screen stopped reasoning for whatever reason. Let's try again. Alright, so ChatGPT actually came with an answer. Let's quickly skip through what it's advising me to do. Let's see, we need to build a pipeline, ingest, transform, model, visualize, step by step, bronze, get the data in ingest. Data is already there, but we can use data flows gen 2 or data pipeline to bring data into a lakehouse. Let's see, do the pipeline, copy data, that's fine. I would have done a notebook myself with Python or Spark, but pipelines are fine, I guess. Clean and enrich, remove duplicates. All right, if you use notebooks, yeah, I mean, we will be using notebooks. All right. Okay, tell me the pipeline for step 1, please. Always say please and thank you to AI. You never know when the machines will rise and take over the world, and they'll probably kill me last for saying please and thank you. All right. Okay, so we can go to create a lakehouse here. It's actually explaining that quite well. So create the lakehouse for bronze. It's right there. This bronze lakehouse. Create. And we will be creating a pipeline. So far, so good. Pipeline. We call this pipeline bronze load pipeline. Now, mind you, I'm just pretending I know nothing about Microsoft Fabric or data platform design in general. I'm just following the instructions that we are given here. So from here, we will add a pipeline activity, and it will be a copy data activity. My source would be here, the database. And all right, let's browse for all sources. And that would be my source SQL database. That seems fine. And let's bring over one of the tables, and that would probably be the customer table or the product table, at least some easy table that we can then bring over. And as ChatGPT is telling me, we need to bring in one at a time. It's fine. It is not fine. Let's choose the product. All right, so then under destination, we will choose the lakehouse that we've just created. There is nothing there yet that we can create or can use like that. So we will use a lake house called Bronze Lake House. That one is connecting, and that should be all right. And we want to use the destination folder. There's no destination folder, and this is where ChatGPT is already going wrong. Let's disable view order for now. Under creating the destination, let's grab a screenshot and put it right there. Now I'm really wondering where ChatGPT is actually getting all this information from. I know it's probably all of the Fabric documentation online on the Microsoft Learn website. However, it will probably not be up to date on all the different things that are in menus that are changing every week. So I'm really curious as if whether the ChatGPT interface actually, or not the interface, the model can actually give me the answers that I'm looking for. So maybe our vibe coding thing will already be killed right here in the step of actually getting data into our first lakehouse. So what it is that it is saying. We can put this to our lakehouse connection object. That seems about right. That's good, that's good. Choose tables, not files. I've done that. And then that's fine. We can click new. Here it is, new. In the schema bronze. And table will be product. Great. Is it product or products? Product. All right, that should be all right. We want to add new rows each time for incremental data. That is tricky, but we could be doing an upsert. All right. But let's do it for now. That doesn't matter for today. And we disable view ordering. It says we can enable it, but for this reason we want to, for this use case, we want to disable it because view ordering is for gold layer only. That's something I know that ChatGPT didn't suggest. And then there we are. So copy data should be. Okay, it asked me to run this. And then after running the pipeline, there should be data in our bronze lakehouse. So let's wait for a few seconds in order to let this finish. That has succeeded. So now it asks me to verify that the data has been landed. So we go to our lakehouse from here. We refresh the tables and we see that there is a bronze table with a product, bronze schema with a product table now. That seems to be working. So we can add basic metadata. Properties description. I mean, I will skip this. It's not that important for now. Maybe if we start doing AI, but on bronze we will not be doing AI, so that's fine. Automate the refresh. Yeah, I also believe that should be important, should be done. Over to append, settings, retry. All right. Add data validation optionally. Let's skip that. It's optional. And then we have indeed one lakehouse, a copy of my table. All right, perfect. How do I get the other tables in there as well? Okay, so now I asked ChatGPT to come up with a solution in order to create all the tables that we have in our database. So let's go to our source database here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tables. That's only 10. And if ChatGPT tells me if you have less than 10 and 10 is not less than 10, then you should be copying the copy data activity, and that is not very dry of ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you should never, ever repeat yourself. Do not repeat yourself. I have a session about that. Come visit my sessions if you want to know more about the repeat yourself patterns. All right, so for each copy, blah, 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 option parameterize, I like that. It's a difficult word for me to pronounce. I'm Dutch, not English. Parameterize is a difficult word. I like difficult words, so let's try to do that for many tables. 10 is more than 10, or not less than 10. So let's see how that goes. We can create a parameter called table name. Let's go back into that pipeline. Let's try this. And then it will pass an array like this. I mean, this is still not, I mean, ChatGPT, come on. This is not something that we'd like. Anyway, we could probably be querying the metadata of our SQL database with sys.tables or something like that, but ChatGPT is not asking us to do that. So unfortunately, peanut butter, as they say here in the Netherlands. Let's create this thing that ChatGPT is telling me to do. Table name is a string with a default value. All right, that's fine. Let's go here because I really would like ChatGPT to give me all the names. And I'm lazy, I do not want to type this. So, oops. So I'm lazy that I just asked the GPT to give me the array by analyzing the image here. I could have been typing it the old way, but that's something I do not like to do. And we're vibe coding today, so that's what we're doing. And there we go. This should actually be quite all right. Let's copy this and go to parameters, put it in here. That should be fine. All right, let's save that. Let's scroll up a bit. And then let's see the parameter, modify the copy data activity instead of hard coding, use parameters. This is not going to work. This is definitely not going to work. Yes, it should be a for each, and then the copy data should be in the for each. All right. Where is my for each activity? Here it should be for each. Boom. Put that thing. This is just pasting or copy pasting it in here. That should be all right. And then asking, I put the copy inside the for each. How do I configure the for each and the copy to make use of the array? I know that we need to go through items here and then type in a parameter. Yeah, we've already done that. Come on, ChatGPT. We can copy this. Under items, put this, and we put it here, and we will. Oh, and it automatically works. In the past, that did not work, and now it works. Because this is green, it's telling me that this is dynamically created field. That's actually good. All right, then look at the copy data activity here. And then we do need to enter manually. And we loop over item. All right, that's fine. Sales alt LT is still fine. And then what's going on here? Should be only one at. And then under destination, what do? We do item again. All right, like that. That should be fine. This is still fine. Okay, sounds good. Now let's try. There's something that's not right. The parameter table list was not found. What do we call a parameter table name? Table name is not a good name. In this case, table list is indeed better. But I don't like that ChatGPT is changing the name of variables while we go. Okay, now the validation has succeeded. Let's continue and try the pipeline. All right, so the pipeline is running, and as we can see here, there are 10 activities that are active. Let's see what they are doing. So they are loading data from a table called @item. This is not going to work. All right. But I have no idea how to fix this, so I'll copy this. Each of the, let's see, each of the activities. Got this error. I know the answer we're getting here is wrong. And this will take hours and hours and hours. We should put this to array. And then my copy data at item. Maybe it works now. Let's find out. Cancel that run. And start it again. And maybe I should have been looping over item.value, but I'm not sure about that. Let's see what it's trying to do now. It is still failing. And now it is actually trying to read address here, so that should be all right. But there's something else failing here now. Add item is still not working. However, let's see. So sales add item is not working. But here customer address is being found. So something here is off. It works on the destination side, but not on the source side. That's actually me how to fix. Bronze add item. And here it is add item. That's not going to work. So this was a dumb typo of me. This was not an error by ChatGPT. So kudos to ChatGPT, -1 for Bas. All right, and looking here at the pipeline, it's now all succeeded. So that means that ChatGPT successfully helped me vibe coding my way through actually dynamically loading all of the data. And now, of course, it would be better if I would just query which data would exist in the SQL database by querying sys.tables. I'm not sure if that's possible in Fabric SQL databases. I know it is possible in SQL Server and Azure SQL. However, for now, the solution here is okay-ish. I mean, for ChatGPT vibe coding, this is all right. And now if I need to add an additional table, it will be easy for me to just put in a new table name there. It will not be automatic, but it will be decent. All right, so let's look at our lakehouse. And here under bronze, we now indeed have a lot of tables. So that's actually quite cool. All right. Asked the ChatGPT to figure out what we need to do with silver. And there it is already cleaning, blah, 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 blah. This is something I usually do not do in silver. Maybe some cleaning, but we try to do that in the ingestion step already as much as possible. And this is funny. So here, ChatGPT is already steering off course. So we have our lakehouse that's called Bronze Lakehouse here on the left side with a schema called Bronze. And now it's telling me we can either create a new lakehouse called Silver Lakehouse, or we can keep the single lakehouse but use folders like table silver. I actually like option 2 in this case because it's a fairly small platform. I mean, there is a way for separating out multiple lakehouses even in multiple workspaces if you start doing larger environments where multiple people need to either access silver or gold and so on. However, if it's a fairly small project with a small data set and the same work everything, then in my opinion, it is not worth it to split out everything to multiple workspaces, multiple lakehouses. I would rather have everything in one lakehouse schema separated. So let's do that for today. Let's keep the schema separation and create a silver and a gold schema. Let's find out what it is actually telling me here for customers. Bronze, scaling that up, etc., etc. This is probably shit. I'm sorry for my language, but this is not going well. All right, so let's say in here, I want to create a new schema. Let's put a schema in here called silver. Let's create that. And let's create a schema gold as well. All right, that's that. Yeah, I don't know anything about writing code. I know that this is probably not going to work. And it is overwriting tables from bronze to silver without actually doing anything. And so that is just copying over data. There's no need to do this. And I really don't understand, chat, where this is coming from. And now it's actually telling me that this is right and that many Fabric demos stop too early. So the structural skeleton not to meet, blah, blah, blah. So it's actually telling me that there will be more on this later. Some examples, removing irrelevant columns and so on. Standardizing relationships. Conforming data, currencies, regions, so on. All right. I think I just believe this. I don't really care about this for now. Right, so the cleaning up thing that ChatGPT is asking me to do, I mean, for this data set, there is really not that much cleaning up that we actually need to do. So if we look at this database, it should already be quite clean. So let's tell Chat that. All right, I'm now asking Chat to actually start creating the data model that we need in our gold layer and in the semantic model. Between gold and semantic models, I do not want to do any data modeling. So basically, if we do an import with Power Query, Power BI semantic model, that would be select star from table from gold. But maybe even better would be doing a direct lake connection or something like that. All right, so we do modeling towards the gold layer and then we just take it over into the semantic model. So now ChatGPT tells me the following facts and dimensions that we need. Fact sales, 1 row per sales order detail, the line item. This is actually great. Join header and detail product and customer and product key, customer key. Oh, all right, that should be right. I'm wondering where it is actually finding all that information on the existing fields, but maybe it knows what demo data we're working with. So let's see if those fields are indeed in there. So we have unit price, quantity, order. I mean, it's actually really, really well. And then we have the order date key, due date key. They're just a different name called order date, due date, and ship date. All right, that's not too bad. And here we have then the dim customer, dim product, combining product tables. That's actually pretty good. This is pretty nice. Wow, really like how this is going. I now want ChatGPT basically to give me a way to supply enough information. And view schema, okay, so it should now be giving me information on how we can do this. And indeed, I prefer the automation here because otherwise I will be copying, pasting, and typing a lot, and I'm a lazy developer. I do not want to do that. Why don't you understand? Okay, so actually it does understand. It gives me a second option. That second option is what we're going to do. All right, I guess I have to create a notebook. And let's see, we go to vibe coding, new item, notebook, and let's call this notebook the get schemas. And again, I am not preparing anything here. ChatGPT is telling me what to do. There we go. So let's copy this. Let's paste in here. Like that. I need to add the lake house. I know that. Attach to your lake house. That makes sense. So run lake house, connect. Let's execute. We had to wait for a couple of seconds for the session that was used by the pipeline to die down, basically. When you cancel a session, it will not be available immediately for other sessions. So we had to wait for a couple of seconds. Now, I think what this code is doing, luckily I as a vibe coder, I can read code. This is looping through a bunch of tables, and it is assuming now that this bronze thing here is in the table name. So I did not put the underscore bronze in the table names. So let's find whether this is actually going to work. Let's execute. And it's not going to work. My data is in the schema bronze. Again, I don't know how to fix this. ChatGPT, please help me to fix this. All right, this actually makes sense. It is now just put bronze in the folder here. So that should be all right. Here we are. This is actually quite nice. Huh. This is quite good. So now for every table, it is simply listing for me all the fields that are there that I can then copy paste. All right, here is the data model. Boom. Now give me one notebook that I can run in order to create my fact and the several dimensions. I'm really wondering whether that's going to work. So let's stop this session because that will be taking a bit of time to down. Create a new notebook. Let's call this notebook mappings gold. All right, so now we have our new notebook here. We can attach it to our Bronze Lake house. And let's see what it's going to do here. It vibe coded away, but now we lost the connection again. Today is not a very good day for ChatGPT. I clicked on start running because it will actually have a session ready when ChatGPT is ready for me to write. Stop. Do it again. I'm not sure why ChatGPT is this unstable today. I have no idea. It is fairly slow. And I do pay for ChatGPT Plus, so I mean, there must be something wrong. All right, ChatGPT, vibe code away. And you know I'm just going to copy paste this mess that we've created right here, and I'm going to run it. See what happens. There we are. We're now starting with the fact table. Gold layer created. It's almost done. Let me just copy this. I am in no mood to wait for this. Let's just say gold layer created, and we're done. Stop. Continue on the line that says so we're now loading our bronze tables, blah blah blah. Counts, okay, yeah, don't really care about that. All right, this should be fine. So we're now loading all of the bronze tables, and again, this is not a do not repeat yourself pattern. This is a very repetitive pattern that should be way better. But I mean, we're vibe coding. We don't know anything about writing PySpark. So I don't know. I'm just copy pasting this. Then there are some things that we're doing here on all of these stuffs. Drop duplicates just because we can. I have no idea why this is going. So okay. Let's run and see what's I mean, where are we actually writing into gold? Okay, that's actually good. So run all, and now let's see what it is about to do. Refresh. And already tables have been created in the gold layer. I should be a bit more patient, but again, when we refresh here, we should be able to find there's tables already being created. Products is now there as well. Then the next one would be the date and then the fact table. There we are. So it should probably be almost be done. Now this is actually quite cool. I mean, the layer was now created in 48 seconds or 49 seconds. I don't really care about the duration, but I do care about that when giving when giving GPT my Fabric schemas, the tables, the columns, and so on, it is actually being able to create a bit of code that can do the dimensional modeling. It understands that dimensional modeling means that we need to find an entity like a product and then grab everything that contains product information into that table. It's really understood that. The code that it generates is maybe not the cleanest code, it's maybe not as nice to look at or as easy to maintain, but it understood the assignment quite well, and it gave me a piece of code that with tinkering, without anything that I've done, it simply worked. I copy pasted it, I ran it, within a minute we had our gold model. That is actually quite amazing. So Our big kudos for ChatGPT here. Of course, in production, never write code like this. Always make it metadata driven. Do not repeat yourself. But then again, if you don't know anything, you just vibe through a solution, you want to test something, then ChatGPT really can help you do so. All right, let's check whether this is actually working. We go to my workspace and we find our bronze lake house. Look in the gold layer. And here in the gold layer, we can now see, our table, or tables. Let's go back to the mapping here and just find a top 5 or top 10 because of the inspection before we go into the semantic modeling. Because I want to do an inspection of the data before we pass this on to the semantic modeling, which is not something we're going to do today, but this is at least the last piece that we want to be showing. Let's see. Now here it actually created something dynamic, showing 10 rows for each gold table, blah, 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 print table, read from delta, table limits, row counts. All right, this seems cool. So dim addresses. All right, that's cool. Customers. Wait a second. The screen is jumpy. All right, so we have customers here. We have products here. This is actually quite cool. Then we have the dates. There's only 3 dates in here. That's not really cool. And then we have sales. That's nice. All right, so what happened with the dates? It's just finding dates in the date columns here. All right. For now, I don't really care about it. We do have found a pretty okay-ish solution. Maybe if you have a very junior data engineer, they might come up with a solution like this as well. But they will not do that in just half an hour. They will probably take a day to create something like this. Yes, this has to be refined, and yes, we should be thinking about how can we actually make our solution more maintainable. How can we make it configurable, metadata driven, and in repeatable patterns. But then again, I don't know anything about Microsoft Fabric, at least I pretended, and by simply copy pasting code and asking ChatGPT, I came to a pretty valid solution. The next steps would be loading this data into a Power BI semantic model, start creating reports, and then we will find that there are some errors. At least for the dim dates, there's just 3 dates in there that will not be working with Power BI, of course. You need a proper calendar table to start creating proper reports. But then again, that's something for the future and to keep in mind. The thing I want to show you today was how we can vibe code our way through Microsoft Fabric, and actually this works really well. But we need to be aware of the dangers of creating code that is either wrong or very hard to maintain. But we need to be aware of the dangers. We are creating code that is either wrong or very hard to maintain in the future. So we need to keep that in mind while vibe coding. I do not advocate for vibe coding. I really advocate for learning Microsoft Fabric, learning data engineering. And my channel helps you with that. So if you like this video, press like, subscribe. Every week I'll publish a new video and I will teach you Microsoft Fabric. So that's actually really cool. If you are not interested in learning, you can definitely vibe code away a solution and it will sort of work. So that's a big plus as well. ChatGPT is free, maybe $20 a month. You cannot really go wrong with that, except for your reports might be off. But for learning Microsoft Fabric, it could be a really good first way. Now, as I said, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. I create this video for you for free, but it is not free to consume my videos. You do not need to pay me in euros or dollars. You need to pay me in a subscription. So please subscribe to my channel. That's all I ask for you, and I'll see you next week.